Well, I just went off from being live, and I'm going to come back on for just a second because a comment was made right at the very end. Don't let my bias cloud the facts. Um, I'd love to carry on that conversation because I think that, you know, if something like that's going to be addressed, it should be addressed, and not just like dropped in there at the very end. I very well came to Gray Man's defense based on the part that I knew was truth. Um, and so that's not bias. That's just me actually seeing evidence. Um, so if somebody can tell me where I'm biased in this whenever I'm speaking about evidence, then that's cool. Yeah, I was done dirty by the same person. So, yeah, I have some hurt there. But I certainly cannot speak to everything that was accused, Gray was accused of. All I can do is speak to the part that I know was truth. And that was what happened in March. That Gray Man did do an interview with Citizen Guardian. And at a little over the hour and 33 mark, it did show that Gray had mentioned this idea. And so, I mean, I'm not trying to argue here. I'm just saying there's no bias in that. That's just me actually seeking out truth and looking at evidence. And not just taking somebody's word for it, because that was what was done to me. People just took people's word for it instead of coming and asking me, because I had plenty of evidence to show that what was said about me was blatant, flat out lies. And so that's why that's why, I try to give other people that benefit of the doubt. I try to seek out evidence, or people that I love that are good friends try to seek out that evidence. And if they show it to me, that's what I'm going to look at. I'm not going to take somebody's word for it, period. And that's what I'd hope every person does, on no matter what. If everybody looks at the evidence, even contacted me to get the evidence on the stuff that happened to me, if they'd even just contacted me, I'd have been happy to show them. I have screenshots of people asking me to be on my live stream. I did not contact them. I contacted one person. That was it. I did not contact everybody else on the panel. Which, whatever. Because this isn't about that. This is about Gray and the fact that I just want to give Gray the benefit of the doubt that nobody gave me, is what I'm trying to say. So people can think that I'm being biased for Gray because it was the same person who did the same thing to me. When in fact, I'm just saying I actually looked up evidence for stuff and saw the evidence and based my opinion on that, and the fact of the way that Gray has always treated me, with kindness and respect. And he handled himself like a man tonight. I mean, he was very humble, and, well, last night, I guess, he was very humble and just trying to keep unity. And my apology was to him, basically just for coming over and trying to get him to defend himself, because he shouldn't have to. Oh, Yossi, I don't want to go into all the detail, but basically the same person that attacked me and tried to turn everybody against me several months back did the same thing against Gray Man pet prepping, saying that Gray Man stole his idea, and then saying all this other vile crap about him, which I don't know if it's true or not, because I wasn't back behind the scenes. I didn't hear those conversations, so I don't know. But one thing that he said was that this certain idea was his idea and not Gray's, and that he came up with it first and Gray stole it. So, me and my friends did research, found the video that showed back in March of this year when he interviewed Citizen Guardian. At just past the hour and 33 mark on that, it shows that Gray talked about this topic and said, I've been thinking about doing this. So, I went back and watched that, and yeah, he definitely, as far as I can see, as far as evidentiary, came up with that idea first. Gray did, not the other person. Hey Sherry. Hey, Celtic Prepper. Good to see you. So anyway, Gray, after this person ranted about Gray and said all kinds of awful stuff for like 45 minutes, which again, I can't speak to any of the other stuff, whatever all it was. I didn't watch the video because I just can't. People just gave me the rundown, what was accused, and so we looked up our own stuff on that. Okay, this thing right here, we see that that Gray had the idea first from everything that we could find. Well, these particular two people, I can't say we, but when I looked back on the video and watched it for myself, indeed, he seemed to have the idea first, not the person that was accusing. So anyway, Gray had a live stream yesterday evening, and I thought maybe he would show that clip of that video evidence, but instead, he was a very gracious person and just said that he didn't want to really go into all of that he didn't want any more division. There's too much going on in the world that everybody needs to be working together and not having the division. And I was over there, I was pushing for him to show the evidence so that people would shut their mouths, because I think people just want to get on these bandwagons against other people without seeing evidence and seeking out evidence for themselves. And I allowed some of my bitterness and hurt from what that person did to me earlier in the year, and the fact that people didn't even contact me and listen to my side, and I allowed that hurt to try to push that on to Gray to try to get him to defend himself. And you know what? It was his chat, and it was his right to defend or not defend himself. It was his right to speak on the subject more or just move on, and he chose to move on, and that's probably what's best, because it's not gonna resolve anything for him to say anything, because people are gonna believe what they want to believe. I've done figured that out. So oh yeah, see, just some people are just, I don't know what it is. Some people enjoy hurting other people, I think. I really do. And it's sad. Tend to do exactly what they claim other people are trying to do to them. But wait, a million times worse. But you know what? I have to work. I need prayers, because I have got to work on forgiveness, and I've got to work on having compassion for these people instead of being frustrated or angry or hurt at them. You know what I mean? I have to. I just got to get in my Bible and be reading and praying and meditating on the word, because it's hard not to get angry, And, you think you're over something like that, or you're getting past it, and then you see the same thing happen to somebody else, and you get so angry because not enough people are standing up for that person, and not enough people are calling them out and saying, stop, this is enough. And people want to just stay on the sidelines and be like, well, I'm not taking a side. I'm not going to take a side. And they're wishy-washy. And I get why you want to do that. You don't want to lose one friend or another. But when something's wrong, you need to call it out. And by showing up consistently over at somebody's channel like that, you're saying what you did was okay. And I just don't think that's right. It's wrong. It's wrong. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. We've got too much going on in this world. And right now, we need to be getting ourselves in a much better place, not only with our physical preps, but spiritually. And so, yeah, the Lord's been dealing with me. I've got to work on that because I still have a lot of bitterness, and I'm trying to forgive, and I think I'm past that. And I'm not, like I just want to stand on the rooftop and show all the evidence to show what was a bald-faced lie, And I want to do the same for Gray. Hey, good morning, Josh. I want to do the same for Gray because I don't like him being wrong like I was, and I hate that. Sorry, y'all. But I'm very thankful for people like Mr. Josh because Josh, he's always been supportive and loving, and he's a really good guy. Okay, sorry, Mary Beth. Let me get my eyes cleared, and then I'll read what you said here. Yeah, I mean, look, here's my thing. If somebody looked at both sides and looked at all the evidence, okay, it's okay, Lorraine. I'll be all right. If somebody looked at both sides, it like it'd be kind of like a court of law, okay? Both sides present their evidence, and then everybody make an educated judgment based on the evidence from both sides. That would be awesome. If then you stand in judgment against me, then so be it. But people don't give people that opportunity. Instead, they want to believe the worst in people, and they want to feed on the drama. And I've seen it during the rants against me and the rants against Gray. And what they do is they sit there and they're like, yeah, tell him. Yeah, you have a right to tell him that, and did it. And it's the same people that then go over and be like, oh, well, and are wishy-washy. Or I don't see them asking the other person their side. I'm sorry. It's just, it's heartbreaking to me that people enjoy hurting people like that. Like literally, when that was going on with me, there were grown men sitting on the panel saying vile, nasty, horrific things about me for almost 5 hours. And not to mention all of the people in the side chat that just followed suit. And they enjoyed it. These little keyboard warriors, they enjoyed it. And they're doing the same thing to Gray, and it's wrong. It's wrong. We're supposed to be helping each other and loving each other, and all I see is people out there enjoying just tearing each other down, and it's wrong. Oh, and here I am on my rant. Lord, please help me, because it's just frustrating. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating. Oh, Mary Beth, I know it doesn't seem that way, but there were people like with the deal with me that I was calling. I was texting. They were calling and texting me and emailing me and wanting my help on stuff. And I was there for them. And I'm not trying to say this to throw it in their face, because I will be here for them still if they need me. But then they go and then they start bad-mouthing me over on that person's deal. And I see people doing the same thing to Gray, and it's just not right. Like, I never did a doggone thing to them. I did nothing but try to be their friend and be supportive and try to encourage them and try to help them build their channels or help them with whatever they needed, whether it was canning or whatever. And then, but it's more important to just go be a part of this drama rather than just be loving and just give somebody the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, did you say this? If you did, did you do this? I mean, wow. That isn't so hard. Or, hey, are you okay? I saw what that person said about you, and that's not like you at all. I had maybe 2 people, 3 people do that. That's it. It just floors me. It just floors me. You would just think that people could have more. We've got so much that we've all been through. Like, we have all been through hell in one way or another in our lives. And it's just so ridiculous that we can't just be there for each other and love each other and support each other. But instead, we want to believe the worst about each other and tear each other down. And it's just, it's sad. It's so sad. Yeah, they can. They can behind the keyboard. So, anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry I ranted. I'm just, like I said, seeing what happened to Gray brought up a bunch of hurt. And I'm one of those people. I would never, intentionally try to hurt anybody. No one. I would do anything for you that I possibly physically, financially, or whatever could, and to be just torn down, especially by somebody you worked your butt off to try to help them build their channel and try to encourage and talk them up and everything else, and then they just turn on you like that. It's hard. And so I'm sure, whenever that same stuff was happened to Gray, it just brought all that up, and I'm sure the person that caused all that hurt's probably sitting back. Yeah. I appreciate that, CHIC. But I mean, I'm just trying to say, when you made the comment about the bias thing, I don't know if you heard when I restarted the stream here, but the bias I had was actually giving Gray a benefit of the doubt that wasn't given to me by most people, by saying, okay, he was accused of this, this, and this, and this. I have no way of having evidence. No, it's okay. I have no way of having evidence, of finding evidence on certain things, like conversations that were held in the background. I have no way to prove or disprove anything on that. Oh, okay. I'm just saying, yeah, in some senses, I may have a bias because the same person hurt me. But I still am not going to just form opinion because the same person hurt me. Yeah, he said some bald-faced lies about me, like flat-out lies, y'all. You have no idea. And so, yeah, it still gets me angry. I'm sorry, it does. But I approached this thing with Gray like this. Okay, but I approached this thing with Gray like this. I'm not just going to say what that person said about Gray was not true because he said lies about me. I'm not saying that. Okay? What I'm saying is It sounds fishy because of my interactions that I've had with Gray. Number one. But there again, that's not evidence, okay? A couple of my friends basically went through a lot of videos and found the one in March with Citizen Guardian, where at the hour and 33 mark, just past that, Gray said, yeah, okay. But Gray said that he wanted to get basically people from all over the world together on a panel and, you know, discuss what's going on and all of that stuff. So if the person accusing him said that they came up with this idea in like March or April, I mean, not March or April, June or July, which is what I was told, because I'm not giving this person watch hours. If that's true, Gray said it in March. I believe that's when that video was, late March. So Gray had the idea first. Not that it's an original idea because other people have done it, but you know what I'm saying. For our community, yeah, Gray would have been the first one to come up with the idea, and he said it would take a while. So, yeah. So, yeah, I did have a bias as far as I was suspicious of what Gray was being accused of, because the same person had flat out lied about me. And if anybody ever wants to see some of that evidence, I still have it, okay? But, so I just went and looked at the evidence for myself. Now, there's no way I can look at evidence from conversations that were held backstage. So I can't speak to whether Gray was some kind of a troll that was going and targeting people and stuff like that. But I will say, based on the fact that the same person said flat, bald-faced lies about me, flat out lies, I wouldn't have it past them to say flat out lies about Gray. And that's, so I'm not going to believe that Gray is a troll or something like that, that's went out to sought to destroy channels, when I haven't heard that conversation myself. I'm not saying he didn't say it. I don't know. But I just look at the two characters, Gray's character and the way he carries himself and the way he handles himself versus the other. And I'm sorry, I tend to lean on Gray's side on that. I'm not saying I know it's true. I'm not saying that part was a lie. I'm just saying I tend to lean more to Gray's side on that. And yeah, I did email Gray. He did not go into any detail with me. I basically just told him that I was very sorry that this happened to him. I know how much it hurts. And not necessarily that person that's saying the awful stuff, because, you know, people will be people, but the people that you thought were your friends that chose to believe the awful things about you, that chose to go over to their deal, and the people who say, oh, I'm not taking sides, but they'll go to their lives, but they won't go to yours anymore, and stuff like that. You know, that's the stuff that hurt. That's the stuff that hurt. And the people that said they were your friends and how great you were, but then they didn't bother to check on you. That's the stuff that hurt. But all of this hurt can be avoided if people will just go behind the scenes and deal with it behind the scenes instead of instead of people like spending minutes and hours saying hurtful, vile things about people. You know, I just think I agree with Gray. I agree that we just all need to start loving each other and taking care of each other. Oh, SOP. I couldn't sleep, and I'll tell you why. Because I went over to Gray Man's deal last night, and the Lord was just dealing with me all night because he handled things so well. And I was over in this side chat trying to get him to defend himself, because I'm just so sick of people just barreling over people and treating everyone like crap and just blindly believing stuff. So I was over there basically trying to get him to defend himself, and I felt bad. You know, the Lord dealt with me overnight, just like, listen, it was his stream, and this is the way he wants to handle it, and, you know, you just should have let him handle it his way and not been trying to push him to do it a different way. And so I couldn't rest. And I'm still real hurt for him. I don't know him that well, but I know what it's like to be treated like that. And so I don't have to know somebody very well to not feel compassion for him, you know. So okay, Chick, I'm sorry. I misread it. I'm sorry. And I wasn't mad at you. I was just trying to, I was like, wait, what do you mean biased? Because, you know, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be a little bit bias there after somebody does you wrong, but no, I like you too, Chick, and I'm sorry I took it the wrong way. I haven't had any sleep, so if you'll accept that as part of my defense. So, but I just love each of y'all, and even the ones that hurt me and said awful things to me, and even the main person that did it, I still love them, and I pray for them, and I wish the best for them. I just wish, it's hard because I just don't. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. I do still love them, and I want the best for them, but I really wish they would quit trying to build themselves up by tearing other people down. I just think it's so wrong. I don't understand how people can get joy out of hurting other people. I don't understand it. I'm just not wired like that. And then just to say a lot of vile stuff about somebody and then just be like, okay, well, that had to be said and I'm done. Let's just drop it. And what was said about Gray, what was so bad was that he was a troll, and he was specifically targeting certain people that I care about, by the way, that he was targeting certain people, but yet this same person was saying how wonderful Gray was and all this stuff for all of this time, and only brings this stuff up after he's mad at him for something, okay? And not only that, but didn't bother to warn the people that supposedly was on his little hit list of people. That kind of tells you something about somebody's character if they're not willing to reveal something like that, and they're willing to like really cheer on a channel until they're mad at them, and then all of a sudden they're this horrible, vile person. And by the way, didn't you know all this stuff about him? Because I heard this in a conversation. It's just, it's all just messed up. No, it's okay, Chick. I'll be fine. I'm fine. I'm a very tenderhearted person, and I'm kind of an empath. Like, I feel for people, and so I just I don't understand, like I said, somebody taking pleasure. Like, I mean, you can tell this person takes pleasure in saying horrible, vile stuff, and the people he surrounds himself with are the same. And I don't understand it. I just don't. You'll never get me to understand how somebody just gets so much joy out of doing something like that. And like even the title of their videos, like, just proves it, you know? And so it's just sad. But I would just ask y'all, if you're faith people, please just be praying for me to forgive. Like, just when I think I'm at the point of like really forgiving fully. Oh, thank you, CHIC. Just when I think I'm at the point of like moving past and fully, and then something triggers it. I mean, that's why I haven't gone to a lot of people's live streams like Gray's. Love him to death, but I'm not going to go over there because a lot of the same people who were just saying horrible things about me are over there. And it's just not worth the stress to me. Hey, Northern Girl Hobbies. It's just not it's not worth the stress to go over, and it just keeps bringing bad feelings up again if I'm seeing the same people that were saying such awful things about me when I'd never done a thing to them, and it was only just kind and welcoming. And so I just choose not to go because I don't want to have awful feelings like that. Not just hurt, but anger. That's the part I don't like. So I just don't go over. And I miss a lot of people. I really do, but I'm just not going to do it because, you know, people that I thought were my friends just said just awful things. And I mean, how do you not get hurt by that? Like, I'm sorry. I don't have thick skin like that. I'm just, yeah. I mean, I used to have so much fun interacting with everybody and seeing what everybody's doing, but my gosh, it's hard to even know who to trust, really, honestly. Which is really sad because I thought we were a pretty strong community until all of this happened a few months back. So, but no matter what, even for those that said awful things about me, I love you. I forgive you. It's the hurt's just still there, okay? And again, if there's anybody that actually wants to see evidence from my side, where I can at least prove some of the stuff that was said about me was lies, I'm more than happy to show you. You know, if somebody will actually take the time to ask, and I'll do a private video with you and talk to you and show you the texts or the screenshots of people asking to be on my live. I didn't go to anybody except for one person and ask them to be on my live. And at first it wasn't even going to be intended to be a live canning with a panel. But I had people asking to come up on there, so I agreed. So, and for those that don't know, my intergroup knows. But the only reason why I hadn't canned with that particular person before was because my Wi-Fi doesn't work in my kitchen. And so I was waiting on my cord to come in, my USB cord, so I could string it all the way to my kitchen. So I got my cord in and asked Mouse, because I didn't want to look like a freaking fool in front of everybody because I hadn't canned in a while. And I wanted to make sure that I was instructing people correctly if somebody asked me a question. I asked Mouse if she would walk me through a canning session. And that's how all that got started. And then people wanted to come on and can with me. So I was like, okay. Mouse is an excellent teacher. She's an expert canner. She's gone to school for it. That'll be perfect. She can talk me through my first canning session that I would have done in a long time. And other people can learn as we go. Next thing I know, I'm this horrible person for doing it at noon when their live stream is like late in the evening, okay? I'm this horrible person for doing a live canning stream the same day. And do you know why I didn't say anything to that person? because I'd planned on surprising them the following Saturday evening to can with them. But how would they know it? They didn't even give me the benefit of the doubt. They didn't contact me privately like a normal friend would do. They didn't contact me privately. No, they just went on this rant and bashed me and said a bunch of vile things. 5 hours, people. 5 hours between the initial video and the next one. So it's kind of hard not to be hurt when somebody and a bunch of other people that don't even really know me do that, you know? So yeah, when this was brought up with Gray, hurt feelings came back, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody by saying this stuff. I'm just, yeah, good. Josh is right. I just needed to get it off my chest. Because if you're still following this person, just remember this. They've went for 2 people in their own community that supported their channel. And if you think you're immune to possibly being the next one, you're wrong. I did nothing but try to help him. And that's what I got for it. Not that I expect anything in return, but I sure don't expect that, you know? So anyway, I'm sorry. I think I'm... Right, chick. It really is. But really, truthfully, I think some people, because, okay, when that happened to me, there were people that were trying to defend me, and everybody went after them. It was like, well, if you don't like what's being said, it's the truth, so you just leave. And, I mean, just awful. Instead of, like, hearing their side on stuff. So I think that's part of it. I know it's not. Yeah, I know SOP. And I know Josh. I know. I think I just needed to vent. I needed to vent. Because I've been holding in the hurt for so long. And like I said, what that person did to me, that's one thing. But the other people that I thought were my friends that just blindly believed it and didn't even ask my side, that's what hurt the worst. But like I said, I mean, even if there's somebody that's watching that took their side at first, I mean, and even still now, I love you. And I just pray that maybe the Lord will deal with everybody that's just wanting to believe the worst in people and actually, like, trying to help them to have a more loving spirit and not find joy in believing awful stuff about people all the time, you know? So, yeah. 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 Thank you, Celtic Prepper. I appreciate that. Well, Celtic, you know, I mean, obviously he's got some kind of hurt that has gone on in his life. And I'm really serious about this. I do have compassion for him in a way, because I believe anybody that takes such pleasure in hurting somebody else, they've got some anger or some hurt big time going on in their past. And so, as angry as I still get sometimes, I really do forgive them. I really do. But, you know, and he did contact me and want me to go on his next canning panel after all of that was done. And I thought about it, and I was going to be surrounded by a bunch of people that said awful, vile things about me. And I just thought, why would I walk into a lion's den And I don't know, I wasn't ready to. At first I said, well, I don't think I would do that, but I might go on a neutral panel and discuss it. But then I was just like, I basically can't do this right now. And I said, I right now, I just think I need to move on. And yeah, right, we party. But anyway, he said, well, that's probably best if you need because I don't need a neutral, I don't need a neutral platform to say I'm sorry, even if it is whoever's fault it might be, basically saying it was my fault still. No, that's the way I took it. It was just kind of a snide comment, and I felt like, yeah, it was probably a good thing I didn't. Because until somebody comes from a more humble place, nothing's going to get resolved anyways. It would have just been me talking till I was blue in the face, and no matter what evidence I showed or what I did, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So please be careful, y'all. Just be careful. I just don't want to see anybody else getting hurt and being targeted, because it's not right, and I don't want to see anybody else hurt. So, Josh, don't worry. I will be my fun-loving, goofy self when we do our camping thing. This was kind of cathartic, just kind of getting it out of my system, and so I'm glad I did. But, and I didn't do this to try to badmouth that person. I really didn't. And I know probably portions sound like that, but I really didn't. I'm just tired of seeing people get hurt. And there's just so much going on in this world. Gray's right. So much is going on in this world that people need to just love each other and support each other and not be tearing each other down. We need to be helping each other get ready for the stuff that's coming our way, because it's coming, y'all. May not be right away, but it's coming. So it does, Chick, and that's exactly what it was in my situation. It was a misunderstanding, and part of it was I just basically wanted to surprise him and surprise him by doing a canning, actually canning the following weekend. And then all of this blew up. I mean, it was just like, yeah, it's true. Northern Girl Hobbies, everybody does. Yeah, I mean, Mouse Toes and I kind of did a live stream on it, and it really wasn't a dig at that person. I know it probably sounded like it was, but it was just like after that person like ranted about me and went off in such an extreme way over something that wasn't just a total misunderstanding, and seeing how people just blindly followed that. We talked about, leaders and who you really want as your leaders, like in a household setting, in a community setting, in a shift scenario. I mean, you really got to be careful, because somebody who overreacts to stuff, see, I wouldn't make a good leader, because first of all, I'm too tenderhearted. I couldn't be as harsh as I needed to be, probably. But somebody who just overreacts to everything is not a good leader either, because you really need somebody that's really level-headed and can weigh out everything and be more neutral and calm, but be decisive. That's the kind of person that you need as a leader in a community or a household setting, because boy, it can go down real quick if you have a volatile leader, So, Well, y'all, I think I'm going to get off of here. It felt good to get it off my chest. I'm sorry if I've hurt anybody or offended anybody. I didn't mean to. I just kind of needed to say it, I guess, and get it off my chest. But I love y'all. And again, even those who have said awful stuff about me, I want those people to know if they're watching, like lurking, or they watch later, you're welcome on my channel. Just as long as you're civil over there, you're welcome on my channel. I forgive you. And I love you. And I just want us all to work together and help each other out, because we need to. We really, really need to, y'all. All right. Thanks so much for watching. God bless. And guys, please remember to prep for it. Prep for it all and forgive and pray for each other. All right. Bye, guys.